recently I was in a situation with the father of my child where I had given birth and I was in a country where I didn't have all of my rights, I didn't have my family, and this guy basically decided to blackmail me with my child. If I don't do this, then he's gonna take my child. If I don't do this, then I'm gonna get deported. And I was constantly thinking, okay, let me just try to be nice and choose to pay for everything and do everything this guy asks so he will stop blackmailing. But guess what happened? It got worse and worse. And guess what happened even now? He went online and he literally said, after I had to leave for my visa, that I abandoned my child. I abandoned my child. No, I abandoned myself, staying through all of the bullshit for my child. I want to say to every single woman, if a man is blackmailing you with your child, give them the child. Let these men be single parents. We need to stop doing what our mother has done, what our grandmother has done. My mother stayed for 25 years with a man, let herself get a because she was scared of the children being taken. I will not be blackmailed with my own child that I almost putting on this earth. I don't want my son to grow up and think that it's okay to treat women like this, that it's okay to blackmail women like this. So if you're a mother right now, and I've seen so many DMs of women of like, I'm being blackmailed, and by the way, the system doesn't protect us. Court system, you will go to court, you will lose all of your money for years and years, and they will still not give you the child. Even if they give it to you, these men will not help you with child support. So guess what? How do we break this whole cycle that our ancestors all had to repeat? We break it by saying it ends with us. That makes this world full of single dads. You know how many men were bullying me every day? Oh, she's a single mom, she's a single mom. Oh, men that have single moms themselves. They don't appreciate the effort that you put in. Let these fathers raise them. Why are we always putting ourselves in these situations where these men can just walk away for nothing? You as a woman, you are not just sent to this earth to be a mother. You are not just sent to this earth to be a wife. You are a powerful woman. Stop giving your power away to these men. Stop giving your life away for these kids that tomorrow all are going to be just ungrateful. First things first. First thing is, when someone holds something over your head, you walk away. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a boss, whether it's a relationship. Oh, I'm gonna leak your... Oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, do it. You show those people no fear. The only power they have over you is that you are scared. When you show these people, I am not scared of you, you will not me, you will not use me, that's when they lose all of the power. Right now, my ex is begging me, texting me, oh, I want to give you your child, oh, now you want to, huh? Because you realize I don't give a fuck, and I never give a fuck. And other things, you better run away from people that are insecure and jealous. Listen, these jealous, insecure people will completely try to dim your light, try to humble you, and take every single soul or essence that you have, whether it's friends, colleagues, your relationship. Run away when you see that they're trying to compete with you, when you see that they're saying these slight comments of like, oh, you're not all that, oh, listen. These people will only get worse and worse. You cannot make these people feel secure in themselves. You cannot control this person. They will only get more insecure because they are triggered by you. There is nothing you can do. You can't sit there and say, I'm gonna change myself and then they will like me more. They want you to stop breathing. You can't do anything but walk away. But I don't care who it is, you walk away from these people and you save yourself every single time.
Girlfriend swerving, tell her get all in her lean. Buy a socket all hot like they do a candy cane. Y'all really be acting reckless, but please just say the word. It's the clapping at you quick with guns as big as big bird. You ain't heard? Man, all my girls really with the I said that in the last song, so tell me how you gon' forget. Oh, this cookie yummy yummy.
So a lot of y'all may have heard of Wizard Liz. A couple of months back, she was going viral because she makes content for women's empowerment content, I guess. I don't really follow her. I only heard of her when she went viral for getting pregnant. She was like pro childless woman, no having kids, do what you want to do as a woman, take back your power, decenter men, and all of that, I guess. And she ended up getting pregnant by her boyfriend, and I think he left her either before or after she was pregnant. Y'all can correct me down in the comments. I'm really not going back to look all into her life. But now she is online saying that she is giving her baby to the dad, full custody. I only recommend this with boys. I really recommend women not having kids at all right now because this is more common than not, men like getting you pregnant and leaving you when you're pregnant. And she is online going off and telling women that y'all need to start giving these babies to these men because I guess he was making her life hell with this baby and he was trying to fight her for custody. And she said women need to stop fighting for custody of these kids, especially if you know that these men are only doing it to make your life hell because they're jealous of you, because you're beautiful and because you have so much going for yourself, and they want to slow you down with kids, and then they want to drive you crazy by fighting for custody when they don't even want the kids. But now her baby daddy, he is trying to give the baby back, I guess. Because it's hard, which is what most men do when they fight for custody. They see that it is not easy raising a baby. It is not easy at all. It's the hardest job ever. So we're going to talk about it. I've talked about this before, that women should start giving these kids to these dads, but only if you have kids with a man that is capable of taking care of them and that won't harm them or pawn them off on other people and who's financially and mentally stable. Most women are not doing that, but the problem is most women don't know that these men are mentally insane or just crazy until after the baby is there and after they break up. So this is why I said women just need to learn how to spot red flags early and first and get gone and just not have kids by them. I've said for a decade that women collectively should just stop for 10 years until we figure out how to fix all of the problems that they are causing on this planet and wreaking havoc. So let's get into it, and I will be in and out as usual.
You don't support women's wrongs the way that you think that you do. Because a woman stepping back and be like, fuck it, baby daddy, you got 100% the parental rights, there is zero reason why you should feel some type of way about that, considering men do it all the time. And yes, I'm talking about the wizard Liz, because I see so many people high-key dogging her for giving Landon all the rights and being like, all right, I'm done. I'm taking a step back. I'm going to move on with my life.
Y'all, surprisingly, as I was making this video, I didn't run across too many people who disagreed with her. I don't know if that's because the tide is changing or because women are waking up and realizing that we always get the short end of the stick. But yeah, it was some pushback, but I guess I didn't look at enough videos, but I didn't run across too many of them that were like, she's a bad mother or disagreeing with her, men or women.
And this could be controversial, what I'm about to say, okay? But I see, like, baby boys, male children, grow up to resent their single moms all the fucking time. I've seen that shit in real time, multiple times over. And so, like, there's a really good chance that that's going to be Liz's case. That was going to be Liz's case if she did take the baby. But at the same time, we do not know if she's doing this so she can actually get her baby back or if she's actually, like, done over with it. So regardless, I support her for finally putting herself first, because this is fucking bullshit.
I saw this on Threads right here and felt compelled to respond to it, y'all. It says, how do men grow up with a single mom and do not have respect for women? And if you're new here, I'm actually diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, and I grew up with a single mom. This is my general response. I said, sometimes those men blame their moms for their dads not being around, and they then proceed to take that internal anger out on the women that come into their lives. So that's one reason. That's a personal battle that I've had to work out in my 7 years of psychotherapy, right? I used to internally blame my mom for my dad not being around. And I know it sounds ignorant, I know it sounds crazy, but that's how my mind used to work. And that could have happened to a lot of different people, y'all, not just my story. There could be a lot of other people's different stories as well. I know it was not my mom's fault that my dad made the conscientious choice not to be super involved, not to be around. But the possibility also exists, y'all, that that single mom could also be a bad person. Let's be real. If you grow up with a single mom that's torturing you as a child, you can't defend yourself. You tend to grow up and internalize that anger and take it out on the women that come into your life later on as well. The crazy thing about it is, even if you have a bad mom that was a single mom that tortured you, that treated you horribly, that abused you and whatnot, you still might have that person in your life. That person still might be in your life, wreaking havoc and causing chaos in your life, and you feel like you owe them something. You feel like you are indebted to them for raising you and being the parent that stayed, right? Overall, I feel like therapy is needed regardless of what type of single mom you have. Therapy has helped me a lot.
Sons of single mothers tend to resent their mother due to the absence of their father. Okay. Here it is, pretty much the only person that's supporting you. If she was to die, God forbid, who would you have? He could never answer. I said, you know what it's like to be a single mom? It's like being the center in football who hikes the ball to the quarterback. Then you become the quarterback to drop back to throw the ball. Then you morph into the receiver who runs the route to catch the ball and scores a touchdown. That's just a snapshot of what it means to be your mother in a single home. I started resenting my mother because of the absence of my father, which was truly unfair. I didn't have a man like myself in my life to help me emotionally process what I'm feeling. And so as a result of that, I didn't really respect the heart of my mother, meaning the pain that I was causing her. I was clueless.
Boys who grow up with their moms, single mothers, resent their mothers. The majority of them. You can ask a psychologist. Yes, the majority of them resent their moms. Send them to their fathers before it is too late. Let them go and live with that man. They should go and experience that man. Unless their father is diseased. But if their father is alive, send them to their father. Send them to their father. They should go and live with him. Why are you raising boys? Why are you holding on to them? Why are you holding on to them? You are begging the man to be in his children's life. Send them to their father. Let him raise them.
At the end of the day, the biggest victim in this story is Liz's baby. Because yes, she makes good points about the patriarchy and society's expectations of mothers versus fathers. But at the same time, this whole situation could have just been avoided if she went to the clinic. I said what I said. And this is why conversations of motherhood and not wanting motherhood and women choosing to not have kids is necessary, because it gives them the critical thinking to allow that choice to happen. So I just hope that baby is okay, and that's all we can hope for at this point.
I agree with her 100%. It could have been avoided if she went to the clinic, but with the laws that they are making and making that harder for women to do, because they want women to be in these situations, to be able to entrap them and enslave them to men forever, a lot of states are not allowing women to do that. So that is why I'm saying women need to really buckle down on their birth control right now or be celibate. Stop having kids for about a decade. They're coming for birth control next. Once women start getting on birth control and getting their tubes tied and doing whatever it takes to not have kids, they are coming for birth control next. So the biggest way that women are going to change this world is by, one, not having kids for the next decade, and by two, heavily arming yourselves, because the United States is about to fall. It's falling quickly, and we are going to be in an all-out civil war. The writing's on the wall. Everybody's talking about it. And the first thing that men do when there is no law is they come for women and children. And in order for women to be able to survive what is about to come, you're going to have to heavily arm yourselves to protect yourselves and your children and other women and children. I don't know what else to say. I have to say it though, because they're censoring what we can say. And just practice your Second Amendment rights before they take it away and before they come for all of the weapons that we have and make it harder for you to even purchase them. Even if you're scared of guns and don't want to do it anyway. Get to the range anyway. Get in the gym anyway. Start lifting weights anyway. Start running on the treadmill anyway. Whatever you think you might need to do. Taking karate, self-defense. Just do it now.
So the Wizard Liz is openly advocating for mothers in, high conflict situations, just handing the baby over to the father. She's recommending that everyone follow her example and just walk away.
Everyone won't have the option to just walk away, but those who choose wisely, I don't like saying that because of the whole choose better. I don't think women can choose better unless they choose themselves. But the women Let me say, get lucky. Luck up and get a man that's mentally capable and physically and financially capable of taking their babies. They may be able to do what she did, but most women are not going to be able to do it. They're going to try, and they're going to end up hurting that baby even more or getting themselves hurt even more. So that's why I just recommend not having them at all, because you're risking your lives, really, doing this with these men. They are out here taking women out, and they are taking these kids out and raping these kids. So you're putting your kids in danger. And if these things do happen to your kids, you're just going to have more messed up people in the world with mental issues because of the choices that you made from the beginning. So I'm way past the hold men accountable thing. I'm on the let's just focus on what women are doing, women's actions, and holding women accountable for the type of life that we are creating for ourselves and for the children that we are bringing onto this very toxic planet right now. This planet is very toxic to be bringing kids of any sex into it, and we see the result of it.
I'm not sure if she means it or she's just messing with him. Maybe a combination of both, but as a family law attorney in New York, I want everyone to just stop and think that there's a baby in the middle of all this. What will it mean if mothers walk away from their children at any age? Don't you think it's going to have a lasting psychological trauma on the child? Yes, I know that fathers have been doing it for centuries, walking away. But do we really mean that mothers don't have anything significant and special and biological that they bring to the table, especially in raising very small children?
Yes, mothers do have something special and biological that we bring to the table, but under the circumstances of a nuclear family or a single parent household, women are struggling, especially in a patriarchy where they have no help. Wizard Liz makes good money, but she didn't want him to mess with her mental state of mind. She didn't want him to have that much power over her because she does content on men like him, and she was not going to play with him. So she did what she did. But until we get in a matriarchy, it's just going to be hard for women to raise kids, whether they're in a marriage or single.
Experience, not to knock fathers, a lot of them step forward and thank God for them, but fathers that are handed very significant custody responsibilities when they're not ready for it tend to give the babies to their parents to raise.
And women are forced into it also when they're not ready for it, especially first time mothers who have never had kids. They don't know what they're doing either. They are going crazy trying to figure out how to raise these kids and live life with no help. So the women in her comments were tearing her up, understandably so.
Or suddenly their girlfriend is raising the child.
If all the girlfriends decided to stop raising these men's kids, would they keep doing this? If all the women in their families would stop raising their kids, would they keep doing this? Women are enabling them and helping them, and they think this is okay. And the women think this is okay. Women are doing it because if we were in a matriarchy, that's what women would do. We would all just come together and help each other, and they wouldn't be needed at all.
Is that what Fatima wants? She wants her child, her small little boy, to be raised by God knows who, just because she's upset at Landon. I don't think she's thinking clearly. I think she's angry and vindictive at a
So when the woman gives the dad of her child legal custody, full legal custody, she didn't abandon him. She's called vindictive. When the man doesn't even go to court and just disappeared, he's what? He's called nothing. Well, now he's got a lot of names, but for the most part, men do not get discussed like this if they abandon their children. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. There are millions of women listening to this woman right now and saying and screaming at her, you cannot work with them. They don't want to meet anywhere. They don't want to meet you in the middle. They just want to make your life hell. And that is what she said
A
she
lot
is
of young
not
people
doing.
are,
Women
and
have
even
caught
not so
on, and
young
a lot
people.
of women are saying, I'm
It's
not
a
doing it.
reaction in the
I've
brain
seen it
that
too much.
I'm
It's
hurt
been
and
done
now I want
before.
to
My
hurt back.
previous baby
I'm
daddy
in
did it to
pain,
me.
so
My
I want to
daddy did
cause
it to
pain.
my
And
mom. My
she's
uncle
losing
did it to
sight
my aunt.
that
My
there's a
brother's
small
doing it to
child
his
in the
baby
middle of
mama.
this,
My friend's
that the
boyfriend
reason
did it to
why she's
her.
in this
My friend's
situation
baby
is
daddy or
an
husband did it to
immigration
her.
problem
Women
that she needs to
are
figure
not
out how to
going for
resolve,
that anymore.
or
They're not
she needs
going
to
back and
work with
forth. They're
Landon
protecting their
so that they
mental
can
health.
meet
And like
somewhere,
I said
maybe with
before, the best way to do that is for women to just pause for a minute until we figure this out together. Oh no, women were starting to do this before her. She just joined the army. She didn't start the army. Women are already starting to do this.
somewhere, maybe with third parties to help, witnesses, so that no one runs off with the baby.
So out of
There's
the
got
many
to be a way
thousands
for her
of
to spend
comments
time
and
with this
reactions I've
child,
been
and there
getting
have to be
to these
trusted people
series
to
of family
supervise and
law
monitor and make sure
perspective
things
of the
go
Wizard Liz
smoothly.
and her
I
situation,
have to believe
not many comments
that
have
once
shocked
she's
me or
back with her
surprised me,
son,
but
that
one of
she's
them
going
has,
to want
and it's
shared
been many
parenting,
comments
that
in
she's
this
going to
room.
regret
And that
putting
is
all over
women
the
actually
internet, that she
saying
wants to
that
create
they
an
would walk
army of
away from
mothers
their
who
child.
walk away from their
And that if they
children,
were in
leaving
Liz's
single
shoes,
fathers to cope
out
for
of the
themselves.
country, trying to move on with her life, they would just surrender custody. And I can understand why people would say that. And to me, it's the significance of
I
something
don't think she
really
means it.
big
I
going
really
on
don't think she means it.
with women in our
That's
society.
where I'm at.
And it's this: we are finally becoming like the men. We are not primarily defining ourselves as wives and mothers. And so, just like men, since the dawn of time, have walked away from their children, have refused to support their children. And they have done so with very little punishment from society. They've more or less gotten away with that. And the mothers have been there to adopt sole custody and to be the sole caretakers of their children. And society has enforced that paradigm that women, I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago, women almost always got sole custody. They were the sole decision makers. The fathers maybe got a dinner every 2 weeks, maybe not even that. And then there are fathers that just walked away. And now here, people are saying that the Wizard Liz should do the same. She's a very young woman. She's beautiful. She has a million opportunities. She doesn't even live here. And maybe it's a reflection of the fact that people think Landon will do a good job raising his son. So where are we today in mothers and custody situations? And I'm speaking as a family law attorney in New York. My name is Jackie Harunian. Here's where we are today. It's joint custody. Most women are working, and even if they're not, it's still joint custody. Even for the moms that stayed home and sacrificed their careers and devoted everything to their children, it's still joint custody. It's joint legal custody, which means decision making and involvement in big decisions. And a lot of times it's 50-50 custody. And that's what's happening probably right now for Liz and Landon. It's going to be a 50-50 outcome. Again, I'm speculating, but I also know what I'm saying. I'm doing this for over 30 years. Would I ever consider giving up custody of my children or terminating my rights to them? Absolutely not. I'm one of those moms that would have walked on broken glass and tried everything to get my kids back. But again, we shouldn't judge women differently than we judge men. Not every woman has a strong maternal instinct. Not every woman nurses their child. Not every woman gives up their job for their children. And there are mothers that are slowly agreeing to give up primary custody. I see it more and more than ever before. Who is giving up custody? It's not what you think. It's not the mothers that are on drugs or don't care about their children or neglect their children. There is still that subset of parents that do that, by the way. But what I'm seeing as a trend is moms that have careers, that are traveling for their careers, or that have remarried and have to move out of state. Those moms have no choice but to accept the reality that they're not going to have primary physical custody. I'll tell you who else agrees to give up custody of children, and moms of teenagers. A lot of times they're like, take them. I can't raise them. I'm not able to control them. And the fathers sometimes do a better job. Let's be real. Fathers also bring skill sets to the table as parents. So all in all, I think this attitude that I'm seeing out there that the wizard Liz should just give up her rights to her child, it surprised me, but now I'm seeing it as a sign of progress in a way, a sign that the genders really are becoming more equal in how they view themselves, that desire for independence, not wanting to be tied down by a child, not wanting to take care of a child. The women are catching on. Do you agree with all this? How do you feel? I'm a somewhat traditional person. I just put in my bio, I'm the daughter of Middle Eastern immigrants. I certainly have raised my family in a somewhat traditional way. I'm still married, but I find it shocking that a mother could, or that on a large scale, mothers could just walk away and leave children with the fathers or decide there's no stigma. I think it is a sign of progress. I actually think it's a game changer. What do you think?
I really don't think it's going to be 50-50 because he's already put her through hell and she doesn't want to deal with him. And a lot of women are saying the same thing. They don't want to do 50-50 because then they'll have to deal with him. And they don't want to do it because these men are purposely trying to make everything hard for them and trying to hurt them when they have 50-50 custody. And the women just don't want to have anything to do with them. Again, I would not give my girls to them, but if I had sons, I would be the same way because as you'll see and as you've seen, these kids are resenting single mothers. These sons are resenting their single mothers.
So it seems that Wizard Liz has entered her villain era, and she is from as far as I'm concerned, her own worst enemy. She is just spiraling. She is crashing out. She is verbally attacking everyone that is not giving her what she wants. And at the same time, she's playing the victim. And to me, it appears that she is more of a covert narcissist. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you're going to blindly follow everything that she says and come after me. Just scroll past this video because you're not going to like anything I have to say. I'm a family law attorney in New York. I have seen scenarios like this time and time again. Do I know all the facts? No. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to come right back here, meet me here, and I will admit that I'm wrong.
As somebody that fought to get full custody of my kids but didn't, the wizard Liz is not going to automatically get full custody of her children. It's not real. It's not, anybody that's gone through the legal system in America knows that it's not something that favors women or mothers at all. And trying to prove emotional abuse is one of the hardest things to try to do ever. You can spend $100,000. You can spend $7,000. And you can have the judge look at you and say, I don't believe you. I don't believe anything that you said.
And this is how women come up dead because these crazy ass men will go before the judge, look all polished and sweet and nice and calm while the wife or the girlfriend or whoever is in there hysterical and crying because of all the things that he is putting her through and threatening her life and everything else outside of the courtroom. And the judge will look at her and tell her this and put her life in danger and put the kids' life in danger. If y'all go back and look at some of my videos, I have plenty of videos where these men have taken these women out when they were pregnant or after they had the baby. I have plenty of videos talking about when they take out the entire family. It's just these women cannot get away from these men because of the judicial system placing them where they have to be around these men because of the kids. And a lot of y'all will remember the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez, that's exactly how it happens, because they want to be able to control where she's at, when she's there, and if she's in danger, that's not good for her or the kid, because your predator has pinpointed you, because the law says you can't leave the state without his permission. The laws have got to change, but until they do, women have got to smarten up.
I won't believe anything you said. I need to have another person come and speak to me. They can't write it down. They need to speak to me, because I don't believe anything that you're saying. And yeah, and then you get to share custody with somebody. Yeah, yes, that happens a lot. I just went through it. Yes. So just so you know, if you're having a baby, or you want to have a baby, or you're thinking about somebody that has a baby, I can just take them to court. You might lose. If you're a woman, they don't care. And anybody that says, oh, they'll give custody to their mom, they don't. The dads that lose custody, they really lost. They lose it. Because they will give custody to a man that hits his kids. They will give custody to a man that lets his kids be babysat by a woman that verbally abuses them. And like, I could go on, but I can't, because anything that I say could be used against me in the court of law. I could tell all you guys all the horrible things that have happened, and then they could take the video, show the court, and then the court could say I'm crazy for telling people about it. So, and yeah, I feel for her. I really do. The court systems are not set up for women.
The Wizard Liz situation is interesting to me because I relate to it. And the reason that I relate to it is because I'm the child in this situation. And my mother was Wizard Liz. I was raised my whole life to believe that she was a deadbeat mom that did not love me and didn't want to care for me, and also didn't even want to be a mom. And she had no control over that narrative. It never quite added up to me because she was a mother of 2 other children. And she did try to be in our lives several times, but we were really mean to her because I'd been told that she didn't care about us. You know, people will always be like, I would do anything for my children. I would never not be in their lives. And it's like, if you would do anything for your children, would you not be in their lives and let them be told that you're a piece of shit? Just to show them what it means to choose yourself and to not be abused for the rest of your life? Would you do that? Because that's what she did. Something that I now realize in my 30s is that at a certain point, my mother, while she is my mother, she's also experiencing life one and only time as well. And so if she doesn't want to spend that time being abused by a narcissistic man, I respect that. A narcissistic man will use a job, a house, a car, money, a child, a sibling, anything they can to control and abuse you. I'm not going to say that my situation is exactly the same because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I will say that if you are Wizard Liz or in a situation like hers, just know that in my situation, as I got older and realized that I was experiencing the same abuse that my mother had experienced, she was the first person I contacted. And she was waiting for me. She had always been waiting for me. She was gone by the time I was 3. So I was a baby. I always remembered the sound of her voice. I always remembered her holding me. And to be honest, that's why, as I got older, things didn't really add up. Because all the memories I had of her were just loving me as a baby. My mother not only taught me how to not be abused by a narcissistic man, but also taught me how to choose myself in this one life that I get to live. And I'm very grateful for that.
I'm not surprised at all that the girls are very much still watching what Wizard Liz is talking about and pedestalizing her, because it proves the suspicion that I've had for a very long time, which is a majority of women are still pick-me's and a majority of women are still obsessed with male validation. The Wizard Liz ignored her intuition, did not follow her own advice, did not stand on business, and got played by a man. But y'all would rather pedestalize that type of woman and give her your time and energy and attention and invest in a parasocial relationship with her because you like the women's revenge arc. You like when a woman gets revenge on a man by leaving him and having a glow up era, having a redemption arc. That's very much still male centered. She could have just not engaged with that man at all. She could have left at the first sign of a red flag. She could have never had a child for him. She could have never paid for anything that had to do with him or his family. But she did, and y'all supported her through it. And she embarrassed herself. She got played by this man on a worldwide stage, and y'all are still invested in pedestalizing her and listening to what she has to say because you're male-centered, because you care about a woman's revenge arc. You care about a woman getting her lick back on a man that embarrassed her, that never should have had a chance with her in the first place. And that's the main reason why I do not have very many female friends, and I do not consider myself a girl's girl, because y'all love to talk about how much you hate men and how toxic men are and how bad men are and all this shit about men, but yet you still ignore your own intuition and you pedestalize women who do the same to go and get male validation, to get played by that man, because the only way you're actually gonna care about yourself and invest in yourself is if you're on a revenge arc to prove to this man that you're actually a baddie, to prove to this man that you're actually capable. Whole time he doesn't care, he already embarrassed you. You're already the mother of his child. Just like Offset said, you're my baby mother. I won. That's all these men care about. They don't care about your revenge arc. They don't care about your redemption arc, and y'all are male-centered for doing that. You're male-centered for continuously seeking out men who you know are gonna embarrass you, going through the embarrassment publicly on a worldwide stage, and then turning around and having a revenge arc, having a redemption arc. That's male-centered. I'm sorry. These men do not care about you. And what do you mean you had to go through all of that trial and error, all of that embarrassment to get played, to have the motivation and inspiration to fix your life and stand on business? It's like y'all would rather support these women than the ones who avoid these situations completely and tell you close your legs, don't date men, don't even talk to them, don't have kids, don't get married, focus on your money, focus on your business, stand on business, stand on your boundaries. Those are the women that y'all criticize the most and drag down the most and don't support the most, because they're actually decentering men, because they're actually prioritizing their own life, not so that they could have revenge against a man who mistreated them. It's because they love themselves so deeply and they care about themselves so deeply and they value their lives so much that they don't even give a man a chance to ruin it. They go after what they want and they get it. They stand on business. They cut people off. They act like a bitch. Yes, they have absolutely decentered men, and those are the women y'all refuse to support. Those are the women y'all look down on. A lot of women don't love themselves and they don't have motivation to live their lives unless there's a man behind them, pushing them. Even if that man is their ex-abuser, they would rather use inspiration from that ex and that abuse to level up their lives than to find their own willpower and courage to level up their lives without a man being involved at all, without having a man to get their lick back on, without having an army of women cheering them on for revenge. Whole time that revenge is you just standing on business and taking care of yourself. Like, why would that hurt a man's feelings? He already played you. He already played you. He already destroyed your life. He already embarrassed you publicly. He does not care if you decide to get your life together now. And the fact that y'all continuously support these women shows we are nowhere near decentering men.
So much compassion for the Wizard Liz, and I don't know all the ins and outs of her situation, but I do have one thing to say. You gotta stop letting men get you pregnant. You gotta stop doing that. I don't know what their exact timeline was for getting engaged and getting pregnant, but I know it was very, very rapid, very, very quick. You are determined to get engaged and married after knowing someone for a matter of months. Please do not let him impregnate you. I want to say no one's above being fooled. Like, obviously Landon did the most to fool her. Like, of course she believed, like, this is the love of my life, I want to have a baby with him, I love him, I want to marry him. Like, of course, like, I'm not trying to say that, like, oh, if she'd only been smarter and wiser, she could have avoided this, because people will trick you. They'll trick you, and there's not a whole lot you could have done differently. And I'm not saying that waiting for years before having a baby with someone is going to be like the foolproof way to make sure you never get taken advantage of. Obviously it's not. But it certainly does increase your odds of not being taken advantage of. It can save you a lot of heartache. I guess I don't really view like having children as like, I love this man so much, I want to start a family with him. It's like, does this man deserve to have a child with me? Has he earned the right to have a child with me? After a few months, no, he hasn't. Get out of my face.
I want to talk about this whole Wizard Liz situation, but the first thing I want to say is that she was warned.
He found my address. He found my therapist here in Miami. I wanted her to have my experience with you. I wanted her to see that I love you. And I'm like,
I'm a really jealous person. You are, and very possessive, and very controlling.
If anybody else saying their man was jealous, possessive, and controlling, she would have said it was a red flag, but she was already in too deep. He offset his toxic behavior with extravagant gifts as a distraction.
Landon has ordered me like 750 flowers.
he came to my house with thousands of flowers every time he messed up.
And I remember I was sitting there looking at them during the day, and I was like, oh my god, I think I'm actually like in love.
I bet it was. I believe it was always his mission to discredit her, her message, her platform. There are so many women out there ready to kick a woman when they're down, a postpartum woman at that, because a man has never pretended to be somebody else with you, right? You have no idea how that feels. Sometimes the best vetting and filtration system will still let a raggedy man sometimes slip through. He studied her. She moved that quickly because she thought her prayers were answered. But the devil knows your type too. This is why you never let a man rush the timetable, because sometimes they're doing it because they know at any minute all those skeletons that they have pushed up against the closet are going to come tumbling out. I believe they said she got pregnant with this man's baby within 4 months. He only had to pretend to be Prince Charming for 120 days. Never let a man rush you. If it's real, he can wait.
Women are learning that you do not have to suffer consequences just because you've made poor decisions. Men live lives of making poor decisions and not having to suffer any type of consequences. And the reason being is because they do not internalize shame like women do. A lot of women will sit here and allow themselves to suffer consequences because they don't want to be called a deadbeat mom. They don't want to be called negligent. They don't want to be called, a slut or a whore, if she decides to, cheat on a partner or anything like that. Men don't care. Men will make terrible decisions and then decide, I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't have to put up with this anymore. This kid, I don't feel like cleaning diapers. I don't feel like waking up in the middle of the night. I don't feel like hearing somebody cry. I don't feel like hearing somebody say daddy. So guess what? I'm just walking away. I don't want any responsibility. I'm walking away. Oh, my wife, I'm not attracted to her anymore. I just go find someone hot and go on with my life. I don't have to suffer here and sit here having sex with someone that I'm not attracted to. I don't have to sit here and suffer consequences of, marrying someone that I really don't like. I don't have to suffer the consequences of, choosing to marry someone and then they get sick. I don't have to deal with, going to the hospital visits and, taking care of them. I don't have to worry about doing any of that. More and more women are taking on this mindset because women are no longer internalizing shame, because that's the number one reason why women fear consequences. Women fear consequences simply because of the fact that they internalize shame over how people are going to view them based off of said consequences. Like one of my mutuals, he made a video where a woman was saying that she didn't want to have children, and she stood firm on it. And then a man tried to use spiritual abuse to try to say, well, do you believe in God? It's not very godly that you're not having children, because they want to shame you to try to pin on you that you're a non-believer, you don't love God, you don't care about Jesus if you decide to not have children, and they want you to internalize that shame in order for you to suffer consequences. Men know that having children is a fucking harsh consequence. Okay? Men know that having to be a single mother is a harsh consequence, which is the reason why they shame single mothers. Which is why more and more women are going to sit here and say, you want to know what? I'm cool being a deadbeat mom. I'm cool giving you sole custody. Put me on child support. I'll never talk to my fucking child again. I won't call on birthdays. Won't call on their first day of kindergarten. Won't be there at their high school graduation. Don't give a fuck about where they go to high school at. And I'm gonna live my life. And I'm gonna do what the fuck I wanna do. Because why should I have to sit here and choose to suffer consequences? Because at the end of the day, more and more women are realizing that you choose consequences. Men don't. When it comes to freedom and consequences, men choose freedom every single fucking time. And more women are getting privy to this shit. I was a little bit afraid. I thought we lost her in the fourth quarter. She's back.
I always tell women, if you choose to have a child with a man, be prepared to be a single mother. But since seeing Lizard Wiz hit her villain era, respectfully, I love that for her. I realize I also have to add to what I've been saying. Not only do you have to be prepared to be a single mother, you also have to be prepared for the possibility that you might have to make that motherfucker a single daddy. You have to be prepared for the possibility that you might have to give that child up to that man. And you have to be okay with it, because these men will use those children as psychological warfare against you. They do not care about these children. These children are pawns for them. They are tools that they use to keep you, the woman, in line. Y'all are always so confused about these daddies. Why does he play so rough with the kids? How come I always have to tell him a million times how to properly lock the kid into the car seat? Why is he feeding my child rotten food? It's because he doesn't care about the kids. We as women need to stop projecting our mentality onto males. We're not the same. We have children because we want to be mothers. We have children because we want the responsibility of taking care of them and watching them grow and nurturing them. They have children to trap women. Never forget, you my baby mama. I won. If that wasn't a wake-up call to y'all bitches, I don't know what will be. And if you are willing to have a child with a male who potentially down the line, when things start going bad in the relationship, will use that child against you as a tool of psychological warfare, then you have to be emotionally, spiritually, and mentally prepared to give that baby up. Now, the good thing about it is 9 times out of 10, he gonna return them kids, and he gonna return them kids quick. Because again, they don't actually want to be involved in child rearing. They just want to make you suffer. So in conclusion, you have to be very, very sure that you want that child. Because in all likelihood, you will be raising that child by your goddamn self. Even if you have a husband in the house. Because we know there's a lot of married single mothers out there. But you also have to be prepared for the possibility you might have to send that child to go live with their daddy.
All that work, and what did it get me?
So y'all, I want y'all to know that Wizard Liz is not the only woman who is doing this. All you gotta go to TikTok and type in, she gave him full custody, mom gives custody to dad. And there are so many women who are doing this. I'm going to show y'all just a few of them.
Remember a couple of months ago, a man went viral for sitting in his car with his son visible in the back seat in a car seat because he pulled up at his baby mama's house and wanted her to take the son, even though he filed for full custody. He thought it would be easier and cheaper. He didn't want to pay child support. So he thought that, you know what, I'll have him all the time because it can't be that bad. And then he was struggling. I feel like more women need to make sure that their baby daddies do 50-50 custody because they swear that it's no big deal, even though for the small amount of child support that they pay, they get all of that freedom. Freedom to come and go as they please. Freedom to take any shift that they please. Freedom to go on any vacation or guys trip they want to. They have no idea how much work and how much of a 24/7 full-time job it is for the parent that has the majority of the custody. I feel like y'all need to let these men know. If they think it's easy, let them do it for a while and see how quickly they fold.
I cannot tell you how often this happens. It happens so much more often than you think. I was recently talking to a mom who hired another law firm to represent her in a family law case, and she got out litigated, meaning that she could no longer afford to keep paying their attorney's fees and ended up just accepting a settlement from dad. The settlement was that she would have to be the one to pay child support and that she would become the every other weekend parent, right? This mom is not the first and she won't be the last, and I've seen it happen in many cases where dad is now realizing that he actually got the shorter end of the stick. Yes, while he got off of paying child support, any single mom knows that the child support is nowhere near close to the financial obligation that it takes to actually raise children. So what happens next? Dad is asking mom to contribute more than her child support amount. He's asking her to pick up the children during days that aren't in the court order. While I couldn't go back and change what happened, I told her, I was like, now this is a part of the consultation where I just give you perspective, mom to mom, not lawyer to mom. And the perspective is you go be the fun weekend parent now, because you know damn well that these kids have only known one version of you, and that version was survival. That version was you working all the time while you handed the kids off to dad every other weekend for him to be the fun parent. It is your turn. And now mom is the fun weekend parent to these teenagers that she has, right? And she's getting her money up because now all she's doing is paying the child support amount. She doesn't actually have to contribute any more financially. Well, dad thought that he achieved this really big win by getting custody of the children and triggering mom, more importantly, right? He knew it was going to trigger her, and her not getting triggered anymore and her fully embracing the non-custodial role as a parent. He was very upset about that. He was like, wait, so my plan didn't work? I completely understand the mom's frustration in this video where she's like, you took me to court, you wanted this, right? And dad's like, why isn't she doing more? Welcome to single motherhood.
She said, you're the single mom. This woman's divorce announcement has completely gone viral, and everybody is really divided though, because she gave him custody of the kids. Now, we don't have a lot of information, okay? We just have these two pictures, and this first picture is, you know, when everything's said and done, she's happy, he's not happy. And then the follow-up one is where she said that she gave him full custody of the kids because she is not leaving this marriage with anything. She didn't come in with it. And I don't know, as a mom, I think it's hard, but I think it really does depend on the age of the kids and how bad their marriage was. But there are a lot of couples that do end up having kids because the dad is the one that forces the woman, hey, we need to have kids. And she never really wanted kids, and, you know, they never really connect with the kids. I think in that instance, I don't think this would be that bad. But then there's a lot of moms that are like, no, hell no, I will fight for my kids till the end. I don't know. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Do you think it's okay for a woman to give the man custody freely and be happy with it? Or do you think she should have fought more with it?
This is an update from the woman whose husband fought for full custody of their son, which she gladly gave him. Hey Kelly, thank you so much for sharing my story. I saw the video and all the supportive comments, and I truly appreciate it. This past week has been really hard. I don't really have anyone in my corner, apart from some kind people on Reddit and in your comment section. I do have a small update. My ex-husband is clearly struggling and has been calling my parents nonstop to complain about me and my decisions. He is being extremely unreasonable. He even asked my mom to help with childcare because his own mother can't cope anymore. Apparently, he dropped our son on her as soon as he could. I also found out that my son has been kicked out of preschool, which explains why my mother-in-law has been having such a difficult time during the day. It's honestly upsetting because my mom is now considering flying out to help him. It makes me so angry as my mother is in her 60s and I know she can't deal with my son. My ex has also told my mother that if I don't come back or call him, that he will put me on child support and never let me see my son again. I get daily calls from my family members, and every single person tries to guilt trip me. I refuse to go back or to even speak to my ex. He will stay on mute till I feel like speaking to him. My ex claims that my son misses me, but I find that hard to believe. I want to be no contact with both. The only thing weighing on me right now is my family, parents, brothers, aunts, uncles. They only see me as a mother, nothing more. Not a person, not someone who might need a break. Not once have they asked me how I'm actually coping with everything. They don't care. It's all tunnel vision about my son. No empathy for me, just judgment. Do I really care about their opinion? Honestly, I don't, but their judgment does anger me. I have about 6 uncles in my family who have abandoned their children and families, yet everyone is on my case and no one has ever said anything about the men. On a positive note, I am still free. I'm still in Mexico. I'm still looking forward to my trip to Rio. I'll try to update you again in a few months. Thank you for your time.
Let's talk about this post that's currently going viral. It says, woman walks out of divorce court smiling after giving her ex full custody. He's a single mom, not me. And here's the message I believe she sent to the mother-in-law. Felicia, your son didn't win custody. I gave him custody. I leave with what I came with, and I ain't come with no kids. I'll see them on the weekends. What I find most interesting about this post is the amount of men and women throwing up, crying, sliding on the wall, and fighting the air, tripping over themselves to call her a bad mom because she's only seeing her children on the weekend, but men do it all the time, and they're not labeled bad fathers. And the trend that I've been seeing a lot lately is men asking for full custody because they think that's going to be easier than actually raising the children. And I say let them figure that out the hard way. I just made a video about this man who was complaining that he has to work overtime every week because that's what he has to do in order to pay his $1,500 a month child support for his 5 kids. And that's an average of $300 per child. And any woman would take that deal. $300 for somebody else doing all the cooking, the cleaning, the child rearing, doing all the laundry, helping with the homework and the bath time, the PTA meetings, going to all their extracurricular activities. Some of you men don't know how good you have it. That little check ain't nothing for the freedom that you get. So now women are pulling that Uno reverse and saying, no, I'll pay the child support, you get the kids. And now it's a problem. Maybe it's the ladies' turn to start showing up at these men's house at midnight saying they just want to see their son, wanting to know whose car that is in the driveway. Maybe it's the ladies' turn to say that you bought those new Jordans with her $300 she gave you a month for child support. Maybe it's the ladies' turn to start saying that she don't want no other woman around her son.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Once they have your child full time and they realize, wow, this is so much work. I got to get my kid up in the morning, get them to and from school. I got to take them to extracurricular activities, dentist appointments, doctor appointments. I got to go through a whole bedtime routine every night. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with them during school vacation weeks and summer vacation. Yeah, once they realize how much work goes into being a full-time parent, they are like so done. And once they figure out how expensive it is to have a child live with you full-time, they realize that paying child support is literally the bare minimum. And they're so ready for you to take the child back. That is why it is so smart to just let them have the full custody, because they will at some point change their mind and want you to take the child back. And it's way better than battling it out in court with them, because not only is court super stressful and emotionally draining, it can drain your pockets as well. Court can get really expensive, especially if you decide to lawyer up. And there's no deadline. Court could drag on for years. Years! You could be in and out of court with your ex, and you could end up thousands of dollars in debt. So yeah, let them have the opportunity to be the full-time parent. Then when they decide they're over it, you just avoided wasting time and money going in and out of court with them. Your baby will be right back at home with you.
To the end of this video, then you already know this is a conversation people need to be having. So don't leave quietly. Like this video. Comment your thoughts below. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Every interaction pushes this conversation further into the algorithm and helps this channel grow.